Hello again. Welcome to Habakkuk 30-day journey. We are on day 26. We're almost to the finish line. Today's scripture is 2 Timothy 1:7. For the Spirit of God gave us, does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Fear is one of the greatest barriers to faith. It can paralyze us, it can steal our peace, and it can keep us from stepping into what God has for us. But this verse reminds us of the powerful truth. Fear does not come from God. Instead, God has given us power, love, and self discipline, or a sound mind, depending on which translation you're reading. Habakkuk initially wrestled with the fear and uncertainty. He saw injustice and questioned, why was evil going unpunished? Why did God seem silent? And how long would the suffering continue? But as he spent time seeking God, he moved from fear to faith. He no longer focused on what he couldn't control. Instead, he trusted in the power and sovereignty of God. By the end of his journey, his circumstances had changed, but his circumstances hadn't changed, but his heart had. He chose to rejoice in the Lord and trust in God's ultimate plan. When fear arises, we have two choices. We could give in to fear. Fear can make us hesitate instead of moving forward. It can cause doubt, making us question if God is truly in control. And it can lead to worry and anxiety and shifts our focus from God's promises to our problems. Or we can replace fear with faith. Faith reminds us that God is greater than any fear we face. It strengthens us to step out boldly, knowing that God is with us. It allows us to experience peace even when things are uncertain. Fear tells us to shrink back, but faith calls us to move forward. According to 2 Timothy 1:7, God has given us power, love, and self discipline. Power means we are not weak. God has given us the power of a spirit to stand firm and walk in boldness. Love, that perfect love casts out all fears. And we know that from scripture in 1 John 4:18. God's love gives us confidence that he is in control. And then self discipline or a sound mind. Fear brings confusion and irrational thoughts, but God gives us clarity, wisdom, and peace. When fear creeps in, we can remind ourselves God has not given me fear. He has given me power, he has given me love, and he has given me a sound mind. Pray and surrender our fears to God. Instead of overthinking, we can turn our worries into prayers. We can speak the truth over our lives. Replace those fearful thoughts with scripture and God's promises. Take small steps of faith. Fear wants to keep you stuck. Faith moves you forward. Trust God even in the little things. Surround yourself with faith-filled people. Fear grows in isolation, but faith is strengthened in community. You can also remember those past victories. Look back on back on times where God has helped you before, because you know he's going to do it again. My questions today: what fear is holding you back from fully trusting God? And how can you replace fear with faith today? We know that fear is a liar, but faith tells the truth. God has not given us fear, he's given us strength. And we don't have to be controlled by our fear. We can walk in faith. Let today be the day you choose faith over fear. My prayer today for you is that the Lord, for you and for me, that he replace our fear with faith, and that he helps us to trust in who he is, guiding us and strengthening us. And then when we feel anxious, remind us that we've been given the power and the love and a sound mind. Give us the courage to step forward in faith, knowing that he is in control. All right, we will see you tomorrow for day 27.